Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I am Jen Sugarmeyer, your host of Mindset in the Morning. And if you are watching us live, this is Monday morning, getting started for the week. And the show is all about getting intentional about our lives. And so that we show up the way that we want to show up. And what do I say all the time? Either life is happening to you or you are happening to life. And it's up to you how you want it to be. And the truth is, the 6 inches between our ears is the most powerful tool that we have. And it's learning to engage it. And it took me so long to figure out how to exercise that muscle, how to understand my mind, how to make it work for me and not against me. And people ask me all the time, they're like, well, how do you know if your mind is working for you or against you? And quite frankly, if you find yourself in what with these states of suffering, what I call suffering, that's fear, frustration, anger, resentment, anxiety, anything that doesn't feel good, that's suffering. We don't want to be in those states. And they're not our most powerful states of being. We want to be in clarity. We want to be in flow. We want peace. We want to feel like we're on vacation all the time. And you can if you learn how to engage the 6 inches in between our ears. And I didn't for so long. And so I understand that you can be going through life and somebody cuts you off on the road and you get really angry, or you get laid off from your job and you just get really down, and these things happen in our life, and believe it or not, we are hardwired to resist change. So we do. So to this week we're going to talk about the 10 reasons that the 10 fears that hold people back in life. So there are actually 10. We're going to go through them this week. And the first one we're going to talk about is change. Change can seem so incredibly scary and overwhelming. And there's all different kinds of change, and we're not going to have time in 20 minutes to unpack every single kind of change. Some changes we want to do on our own. Maybe we want to start a business, or maybe we want to, I don't know, move or do something. So there are some types of changes that we want to make that move ourselves. And sometimes change happens and we didn't ask for it. We didn't anticipate it. We didn't want it. Maybe you got laid off from your job. Maybe your significant other left. Something happened and it just presented itself to you. You didn't actually say, yes, I would like to change jobs. Your job decided to change for you. So there are different kinds of changes, but either way, we want to be able to move through these situations and not be in this state of suffering. We don't want these fears to hold us back in life. And the truth is, so our amygdala in our brain, whenever it senses change, it starts to go off like, warning, change is happening. So I'm not making this up. So you are actually hardwired not to embrace change, but that doesn't mean that we can take control, that we can, I don't even know if that was English. It doesn't mean that we can't take control when things happen. It's the same as, is life happening to you, or are you happening to life? Yes, you may acknowledge that you are hardwired a certain way, but it's us first and foremost understanding what is happening within our body. Where is that resistance coming from? And then working through that. So first is the acknowledgement of, when change starts to happen, your body is going to resist. It is very likely that the way that it is wired now is not the way that you're going to be able to move through with ease, that you're going to have to tell your mind something else, that you're going to have to tell your brain, hey, this is okay. We're going to get through this. And have those conversations with yourself, but you have to be able to acknowledge when it's starting to happen. So it's almost like there's this warning, warning, and it can happen for big things and it can happen for small things. And there's no right, there's no wrong. I remember when I was a kid, and my parents were changing their dishes. Like we had these Corelle dishes, the kind I think you can like throw them on the floor and they don't break. And we had some of those. And I remember they were very faded. Um, because I remember going into one of these Corel stores and seeing what they should have looked like, and those didn't look anything like our plate. So, so these plates that we had were, it's not fine china. They're nice plates, but they're not the most expensive plates. They're just plates. They don't break, and they were way faded. And I remember when my parents talked about getting new plates, and I just became this emotional wreck. I'm like, "Whoa." And I don't know, I was probably 10. I hope I wasn't any older than 10. I don't know how old I was, but I do remember getting very upset over that. And if I put myself in that little girl's perspective, it's like, that's what that's what served my dinner for so many years. I was used to these pretty plates and so I was so focused on the loss, this loss that I was going to have in my life instead of the excitement of something new. And that's what the amygdala is doing. It is telling you that, hey, warning, there's going to be a loss. Change is scary. We don't know what's on the other side. So warning, warning, warning. So when change starts to happen, it's acknowledging, hey, that this warning is going to go off. And you say, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. Change doesn't have to be a loss, but in fact, rather, it's a gain. There's something beautiful on the other side. And this is a cliche example, but a butterfly starts as a caterpillar. And I don't know about you, but if I was a caterpillar just like going around and you were like, okay, now you got to go grow some, get in a little cocoon and grow some wings, I'd be like, I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know if I want to go through the process. It sounds kind of painful. Sounds like a lot of work. But how many times have we seen a caterpillar before and after and thought, yeah, it should stay as a caterpillar? No, butterflies are beautiful. And so, in order to get to where we want to be, that change has to happen. And when we see on the other side that the change is good, it helps rationalize in our mind the steps that we're going through. So, yes, it seems overwhelming. Yes, it seems scary. But telling ourselves that on the other side is something good, it's something better. Oh my gosh, as a butterfly, you can fly. I had a dream last night. I woke up in the middle of the night. I don't have these very often, but I was flying. And in my dreams, I'm the only one that's ever able to fly. If you are a dream expert, I would encourage you to, I would ask you just to message me, like, what does all this mean? Because I look in some of these dream books and I don't know why there's no consistency, but a lot of times these dream books have like different interpretations. So I don't know which one's the right one. But anyway, so I'm flying around in my dream and swooping down on places and it's like the coolest feeling ever. And I rarely get that. And in fact, I forgot about it until just now. And if you're that butterfly and you're walking around and you have 10,000 legs or however many, little caterpillar legs that you have, and you're like, man, I don't want to change, but then you get to fly. Heck yes. But it's scary to go through the process. So telling yourself it's going to be okay and that there's something better on the other side. It's not a loss, but rather it's a gain. You are gaining something in your life. Change is scary, but it doesn't have to be a loss. It's all in where we frame our mind. Now, you might be dealing with a layoff. You're like, yeah, but I don't have the job. I don't have the paycheck. I don't have any of this. Well, did you want to be working for a company that wasn't, that can't financially support you? I don't know why your department got laid off or your position got eliminated. I don't know. But I've been in companies before and they've terminated entire departments. And we've all just looked around and been like, how did you get rid of the project management team? You know, like we have projects. You just got rid of the entire project management team. If a company is going to make a decision that they no longer need project managers and you were part of that department, is that the company that you wanted to work for? You have say in where you work. Now, it may take you some time to find another job, but what if you turned that loss into a gain? I'm not losing that company. I'm about to gain something amazing, an amazing thing. And you turn that energy from lack into, I'm going where I'm going to be appreciated. I'm going to go to a place that values me and everything that I have to offer because I have so much to offer, versus they got rid of me. I'm pathetic. I'll never be able to find a job. I'm missing my paycheck. You know what? That company, and maybe they laid you off because of COVID and they didn't financially have the money. I don't know what it was, but whatever it is, it's their loss. It's their loss because you are so incredibly valuable. You're so valuable. So as change is happening in your life, remember to tell yourself that you are worth so much. You are worth all of it and you deserve it. And so there's not the loss. It's what can you bring? What is this next thing going to bring to you? Where are you going to be of most service in that situation, whatever it may be? Because there's lots of different kinds of situations. But hold your value. Hold your value. You are worth it. Change can feel a little uncomfortable sometimes, and just know that that's going to be part of the process. It's talking to that amygdala and saying, hey, I know this is a little uncomfortable. It's like that butterfly. I'm sure that butterfly wasn't like, this is like a massage, me growing these wings. You know, I don't know. I don't know what it feels like to become a butterfly. I mean, metaphorically, yes, but not like physically. I've never actually become a butterfly, but I have grown to 6'1". And that's really impressive. And I know that me going through my own physical growth, it hurt. There was a lot of discomfort involved. So as you are changing, as you are going through these steps, you will likely feel discomfort. And what if instead of rejecting the discomfort, you started to embrace it and say, wow, I'm about to get my wings. I am about to get to that point. One of the reasons our amygdala is saying, hold on, go backwards, we don't like this, is because change feels uncomfortable. And your brain wants to keep you in a safe space. It doesn't know the future. It only knows what it knows. And even if what it knows isn't good for you, that's all it knows. It's like my drinking. I wanted to quit for so many years, but I didn't. My brain kept going back to what it knew. But I knew there was something better on the other side of no drinking. But for 10 years, my brain said, let's go back to what we know. So your brain doesn't always know which one is better. It knows what it knows. You have to tell it, hey, it's okay. Acknowledge that change is happening. Change is okay. Change is going to feel uncomfortable. Change is not a loss, but rather a gain. And when you tell yourself, when you know, knowledge is power. When you know these things, then you can work through them. It's not warning. There are these signs that are here in Texas, which I find to be a little funny. They say, turn around or drown. And it's so that if there's high water, that you turn around, that you don't try to go through it. Have you ever seen those people that have gone through like a big puddle of water and then they can't move anymore because their vehicle drowns, it gets stuck, it can't move anymore because there's so much water in the motor? So they say, turn around or drown. That's what your brain tells you sometimes, like, turn around, you're going to drown. Well, I will tell you, had I stayed in my life and not quit drinking, I don't know where I would be today. I don't know if I would be here or not. So your brain doesn't always know the best thing for you, but you do. Your brain only knows what it knows. And when it sees change, it goes, scary, scary. Okay, there might be good on the other side of that, but I can't confirm nor deny. So you've got to tell it that it's okay. Know that that discomfort is going to come with it. It's part of the process. I didn't get to be this 6'1" majestic unicorn prancing around without any discomfort. Trust me. I remember for like 2 years massaging my legs, being like, oh my gosh. It's funny to me when people are like, growing pains isn't a thing. I'm like, is absolutely a thing. My legs are so long and they hurt for like 2 years. So it is absolutely a thing. Just like that butterfly. You're going to go through discomfort. Just know that that's coming. Just know. And lastly, they say the way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself. Don't try to change everything overnight. I have a friend of mine, and I hear very often these, I'm changing this. I'm changing this. And they're like these massive changes. Like, I'm no longer ever doing this. And like 2 days later, that's completely out the door. And I've heard this so many times. I'm like, okay. And I'm here to support. I'm not here to say, well, we'll see how this turns out. I'm like, good, great. I'm here to support you, whatever you want. But when we try to change everything overnight, I don't know what the percentage is of success versus not success. We won't say failure. We'll say of not succeeding, of not accomplishing what you set out to do. But it is so overwhelming to that brain that is trying to keep you safe that it says, you know what? Abandon ship. Abandon ship. I can't do this. So take things one day at a time, one foot in front of the other. There's a saying within the recovery community, and that's one day at a time. And that's not just the recovery community, but I'm part of that. And that's something that we say. Just take it one day at a time. In fact, a lot of times you'll hear, just take it 1 hour at a time, 1 minute at a time, 1 second at a time. Because when we get so far in the future and I have all these things to do and I'm making these big, huge changes and I need all this to happen, it can feel so overwhelming that we just shut down. So change can be overwhelming if we're trying to take it all on at the same time. You're human. I'm human. I assume you're human. We're human. There's only so much that we can do. So give yourself that grace, give yourself that time. Don't try to make all of these drastic changes overnight. Be a project manager and say, okay, this is where I want to be, and start working backwards. Your project doesn't have to be done tomorrow. What are you trying to accomplish? You don't go into the gym and get abs like the first. I wish we did. Believe me, if we could vote on this, I'd be like, yes. Can we vote for abs after one workout? Yes, I'd vote for it. Maybe. I don't know. It is part of the process. It's the process. There are no quick fixes in this life. We've got to go through the steps. So one step at a time. So you've got this. Don't let the fear of change stop you from going after your dreams. Just one step at a time. Tell your brain that it's going to be okay. It's not a loss, it's a gain. Know that it may feel uncomfortable, but keep your eyes focused on what it is that you want for your life and hold your value. So, a lot of great content. I am so excited because it's Monday and I'm going to start this week with that message. I'm about to head to the gym. I would appreciate if you would like and if you would subscribe. This channel is growing, y'all, and I am so excited. And I don't make the algorithm, but the more likes, the more subscribes that we have, the more that we can reach this message. And it's us getting intentional with how we want to show up today. So I'm going to ask you, how do you want to show up in this world today? How do you want to feel when you walk out the door, when you get out of bed, when you're with your friends, when you're with your family? Who is that person that you want to be? Is life happening to you or are you happening to life? This is Jen Sugarmeyer,